Today we're going to talk about the Nord N30 5G from OnePlus. This device is going to be ushering in the Nord series, or at least the higher performance version of the Nord series for 2023. Typically we see this at the beginning of the year. Last year we saw the N20. This year we have the N30. And this is actually not going to disappoint. We have a primary camera sensor of 108 megapixels on this. Of course, a large front-facing display with a high refresh rate. And of course, stereo speakers, headphone jack, expandable storage. All the things that Nord is known for is back, of course, for 2023. This is TK and this is my review of the OnePlus Nord N30 5G. Let's check it out. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos on the channel. So this is the package of the Nord N30 5G. We have the USB-C to USB-A cable. This is a standard OnePlus red and white color. We have a 50-watt charger that's included in the box, but surprisingly, actually this device will charge up to 67 watts on that 5,000 milliampere battery. So in the box, if you basically buy the device, you'll definitely get the brick in the box at 50 watts. But if you happen to own one of the older generation charging bricks from OnePlus, this is going to be able to charge at 67 watts. Of course, we have the OnePlus Nord N30 and, of course, the box itself. Currently, there's two configurations of this device. There's an 8128 and an 8256. The 8128 is the only one available right now, but hopefully we'll be able to see the 256 model come out later. But there's definitely going to be deals and specials and everything going on, so make sure you look for the best option for you when you're picking up this device. What we're looking for here on the back is overall a primary camera sensor of 108 megapixel camera sensor. This is a Samsung sensor. We have two complementing sensors, a depth sensor and a macro lens, but for the most part, it's that 108 that we're going to be living in. Dual tone LED flash, no wireless charging, but we do have that large 5,000 milliampere battery. And of course, a really nice, very good material used here for the back. This is definitely going back into some of the more premium materials, especially for the Nord line. On the left, we have a SIM tray supporting 5G technology with the SIM card in here. Of course, we have a volume rocker on the left side. Now, when we switch it over to the right, we see the power button as well as the fingerprint sensor present over here. At the top, we have one of the microphones. On the bottom, we have the secondary microphone, a USB-C charging and data transfer port, a bottom firing speaker, of course, married to the top one for stereo speakers, and of course, last but not least, a headphone jack. Again, one of those rarities, but definitely appreciated on the Nord line. This something that you don't really see on many devices nowadays. Now, complementing this beautiful 6.72-inch display that we have in here, it's a 1080p panel, 5,000 milliampere as we talked about before. 8 gigs of RAM is the model that I have, with the ability of adding up to 4 gigabytes from the internal storage, complementing it, making it so that you're able to get about 12 gigabytes of usage. Snapdragon 695 is the processor that we have here, with obviously an octa-core processor with 5G technology. We have an 8128 here, and last but not least, front-facing camera is a 16 megapixel camera, and I mentioned to you guys before, the 108, 2 and 2 are going to be the main cameras on the back. That 108 is going to be primarily the best performer on this entire device. It is running Oxygen OS 13.1 on top of Android 13, so all of this information here is definitely very, very nice, but the biggest improvement that we've seen here is the fact that we actually now have 120 Hz refresh rate. And as you can see here, we have a couple of options available here, the ability of going to maximum of 120 or going standard at 60. And it is a variable refresh rate going from 30, 48, 50, 60, 90, or up to 120. So it's not going to be running on 120 all the time, but I'll say this, with that 1080p panel, with the processor that we have and the 5,000 milliampere battery, I have no problem saying that this device will last you all day, and it has, as I've been using it for the last week or so. So definitely a very good benefit of getting a very good combination for the N30. Powerful processor enough for us to be able to enjoy content, movies and everything, as well as the ability of actually enjoying games. But last but not least, of course, is those speakers. Talking about the performance that we get here, of course, running Geekbench 6, just for reference, we have 907 for the single core, 2124 for the multi-core. Again, something to be expected. Again, it's the 695, a 6 series processor from Qualcomm. Powerful enough for everyday usage, but again, still gives us that power efficiency that we want to get that long battery life. Now, it goes without saying that this device is going to be supporting 5G, as you can imagine right here, 747 down, 50 up here on T-Mobile in my area. Of course, it does support most carriers, but it primarily is going to support sub-6 5G. For best compatibility, please make sure to check out the specifications on this device and make sure that it's compatible with the 5G that you have in your area. We're going to start off with the front-facing camera here on the Nord, and the biggest thing, obviously, front-facing and the rear-facing experience is going to be pretty much the same. 1080p resolution, 30 frames per second. Sorry for the crow. And that's going to be basically the best experience that you can get. Although I will argue saying that the video on the main camera on the back will definitely be much better, this is a good representation of video and audio with a little bit of wind on the brand new Nord. The best best experience on this device is always going to be with the main sensor on the back. And this is obviously true here with the brand new Nord. The biggest thing I'll probably say is live within the main camera on the back of this device. You're going to get not only the best video, the audio obviously will be very better, and the best processing is typically done on the main sensor on the back with most OnePlus devices. So although the 6 series processor is limiting us to 1080p on all cameras that we have in here, the experience that we get on the back will be definitely a much better experience. The material on the device, because it's reflective, actually becomes a little bit of a mirror effect, so you can actually see yourself when you're recording, therefore making sure that not only are you centered, but you're also making sure that you are able to make that you're in frame. Let's just say that, not only just centered, but at least in frame, and you can see yourself doing so. So good example of the audio and video from the brand new Nord, and hopefully you like it. A little bit of wind, and of course our friend the Crow is still hanging out with us. Now, as you can imagine there, the experience was pretty comparable. The best experience is always going to be based on that 108 in the back. So as long as you're using that main sensor in the back, you'll get the best HDR processing, the better color science, and of course at this point only limited to 1080p, but hopefully we'll see some additional options in the future. Now let's go ahead and jump in and do a quick audio sample on the speakers that we have in here, 100% on the volume, and that's one of the new things that they added in here. You notice that the volume, when it says up to 200% with that red option, pretty much lets you know that this is going to be pushing the limits of what we get. Our favorite song, Alex Crindo, Jumbo by NCS Release. Let's check it out.
Jack it up.
Definitely sounds really good. I probably will say that your loudest speaker is going to be the bottom firing speaker facing away. The earpiece is providing us more like the mids and highs, but the bottom one's giving you that lows. So overall, you're definitely going to be getting a good experience, stereo speakers. But for me, the best experience is always going to be with that headphone jack if you want to be able to get that personal, low latency, or actually no latency experience, especially for gaming. But when it comes down to actually usability, this device definitely works very, very nice. The fingerprint sensor works, as you can imagine, works very nice. The refresh rate is beautiful, runs exactly as you can imagine. But of course, let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and talk about gaming on this device. I installed PUBG Mobile and of course Call of Duty Mobile. We do have a game launcher that's built in. You're able to automatically load games or add them manually yourself, and of course launch the game and get access to the experience that we get in this device. Let's go ahead and lower the volume. The game engine is turned on. Performance mode is supported in here automatically within game mode, and you're also able to turn it on manually directly within the battery settings. First and foremost, swiping in from both sides, top and bottom, gives you the same experience. As you can imagine right there, I turned on Pro Gamer mode. We have the ability of customizing notification disable, call blocker, screenshot, screen recorder built in here. And one of my favorite features that we have in here is the status, which allows us to actually see the performance on here between frame rate, GPU, and CPU requirements. And this is going to be one of the big things about this device is the overall experience that we're getting here is very comparable to the 6 series. It's not going to give us the top of the line gaming experience, but it will give us a solid 60 frames per second on both Call of Duty Mobile as well as playing good 40 frames per second on PUBG Mobile. And that was my experience using this device and playing games with it for the last week or so that I've had. It's a great all around usage type of a device, watching content, playing games, social media, responding and doing everything that you want. The main thing you just need to know that getting this device from a camera standpoint will be basically limited to the best experience on that 108. Now, the expectations that we have here is pretty much set to roughly about where the price point of this device is going in. This is a budget king. And the reason I said that in the title, because in the US market right now, we don't really have a lot of options when it comes down to this experience for this price point. And I think this is where it becomes very functional. OnePlus offers us a very smooth and very fast UI element that runs very nicely on top of Android 13. And of course, 13.1 version of Oxygen OS here is very good. All the features that we've seen before are definitely very much here. We're going to be getting updates on this. And the biggest thing about this when we're looking at the camera experience here is that I feel like the main camera in the back is going to give you the best. The reflective material that we have on this device helps center us if we're trying to use a, I would probably say basically a selfie with the main camera in the back. And I feel like that will always be the best experience. And I think at the end of the day, if you're looking for a budget device that has definitely much more of a bang for the buck experience, the OnePlus Nord N30 not only hits the mark, but definitely punches above that with all of the features that it includes between the stereo speakers, the headphone jack, the 120 Hz refresh rate on the display, 5000 milliampere battery, the very fast charging that we have in there, and of course, expandable storage, things that you don't see on other devices in the market. With that being said, I hope that you think, or at least that you found this video helpful and maybe help you making a decision if the Nord N30 is the right device for you. Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much for the support. I'll see you in the next video.